Hello everyone. I'm Valeria, and today I want to share with you a terrifying experience that I lived in the basement of an old house. Not only was this place dark and dusty, but it was also permeated with a dense, oppressive atmosphere that seemed to envelop me in an icy embrace as soon as I set foot in it. The house in question belonged to some family friends, who invited me to stay for a night while I visited the city. Everything was going well until I decided to explore the basement out of curiosity. I descended a creaky wooden staircase that seemed to retain centuries of untold stories. Once downstairs, the meager light from a flickering light bulb barely illuminated the space, casting grotesque shadows that moved with my heavy breathing. The air was cold and damp, with a musty smell that made me take a step back. My mind played tricks with me, making every shadow and every minimal noise resonate like a silent warning. My footsteps echoed dully on the stone floor as I drifted deeper into the maze of corridors cluttered with old junk and furniture covered in dusty sheets. It was then that I noticed a disturbing detail. At the end of one of the corridors, barely visible in the gloom, stood a human figure. My muscles tensed and my breathing stopped for a moment as I tried to discern whether it was real or a product of my fear-altered imagination. The figure seemed to be staring at me, without making any perceptible sound or movement. With my heart in my throat, I decided to approach slowly, praying that I would find a rational explanation for what I saw. Each footstep echoed like an ominous echo in the sepulchral silence of the basement. When I was close enough, I realized with horror that there was no human figure. It was just a shadow cast by a pile of furniture stacked irregularly. Despite easing my initial fear, the relief was short-lived. The atmosphere was still charged, as if something else was waiting in the dark to reveal itself. I turned around to go back the way I had come, but something in the darkest corner of the basement caught my eye. An old, worn wooden door had opened on its own, revealing an even darker and more unfamiliar passage. Fear gripped me as my mind raced wildly, imagining the worst. What was behind that long-forgotten door? And why had it opened just then? Without thinking about it any longer, I escaped from the basement as fast as I could, climbing the stairs 2 by 2 until I came out to the safety of the main room. Since then, I avoid talking about that basement and wonder what that door could have been and why I felt so afraid to see it ajar. Thank you for listening to my story. Always remember that deep within the shadows, the most unfathomable fears of our mind can be found. Until next time. Goodbye. Hello everyone. I'm Valeria, and today I want to share with you a terrifying experience that I lived in the basement of an old house. Not only was this place